Hey guys, it's Agent Z Gamer and today we're ranking all the Arkham bosses. So first off we're going to start with Zazz from Arkham Asylum. There are two boss fights for Zazz. Technical boss fights, they weren't really fighting at all. You threw a batarang or you used a glide kick in the first fight. I mean it's a solid D, I reckon. Killer Croc's boss fights. Less of a boss fight, but still I'm gonna rank it a B because it was scary. Okay, so now we have Scarecrow's boss fight. I'm also gonna rank say solid B. I enjoyed it because it was scary and actually had something interesting. There was a few Scarecrow boss fights in the game, all of them were good. So next we have Bane. Bane was literally like all the other Titan thugs. Also, I forgot to mention, I'm not counting any of the Titan thugs on here other than Bane, but because it's all pretty boring. It's just fighting them. Really, you fight them a few times throughout the story. They're all pretty easy to beat. So I'm gonna put Bane in probably solid C. This is the Bane from Arkham Asylum, by the way. There's another Bane fight in Arkham Origins, so... Poison Ivy is usually considered a good fight, but in reality, it's literally you just doing the exact same thing pretty much, throwing batarang and punching henchmen. So, it's going to be B for me. And now, Titan Joker. It was an interesting fight, but Titan Joker doesn't really fit the theme for me, so I'm gonna go C. Solomon Grundy. I enjoyed this fight from Arkham City. So now we're moving on to Arkham City bosses. I forgot to mention that as well. Anyways, I enjoyed this fight from Arkham City. It's such a decent fight, so I actually think it's going to be a solid B tier for me. I enjoyed the explosive gel and everything like that in the fight that you have to do, and there's like 3 stages and each got progressively difficult to use the explosive gel on. Anyways, next up we have Ra's al Ghul. This is also another solid B tier for me, I reckon. It's probably the highest B tier maybe, so I reckon I'll put it just above Croc. It's probably the highest B tier, leaning towards A because it had an interesting feature with the shock, the REC gadget they had to use to shock all the things in his body to actually attack him. Okay, now this is my favourite boss fight from Arkham City, Mr. Freeze's boss fight. He actually used tactic and it got harder depending on the difficulty of the game you had. In easy mode you have to do 3 different tactics, in normal you have to do 5 tactics, and in hard you have to do 7, in new game plus you have to do 9. So this was a very hard boss fight. This is a definitely an S tier fight. Now Clayface. Clayface probably ranks up on A tier. Clayface is actually a really decent fight. I enjoyed how you had to do freeze blasts and you thought it was done the first time, but then the second time he actually comes back to life. And then there's a third time where Joker explodes the floor. Now that was also fun, where you got to use the sword. Now the best boss fight of them all goes in S tier right now, Electrocutioner. Electrocutioner goes straight up to S tier. By the way, that's a joke. He doesn't go up to S tier. He just disappears. Apparently. Anyways, Deathstroke now. Deathstroke goes into E. Deathstroke is a good fight. Did I say E? I mean not E. I mean S. Deathstroke's a great fight. I didn't mean to say E. I was hovering over it, which is why I said it. But anyways, Deathstroke is a great fight. It's solid S. It goes straight to S. It's pretty much like Mr. Freeze fight, but instead of you playing like a IQ fight, it was you playing a physical fight. Now, Bird's fight from Arkham Origins. This is also an air fight. It comes under C for me because it's like, it just reminds you of all the other fights from the game. The other Titan Venom Fogs you have to do. Copperhead. Copperhead is also pretty interesting, but it's like, you just fight loads of shadows and that. It's like pretty much Batman hitting air the entire time, pretty much. Assuming that there are actually not millions of Copperheads. So solid B. Lady Shiva, pretty much similar to the one from Rachel Ghoul's Fire in Arkham City, so I'm actually going to rank this in C because I didn't really enjoy this much. It was you beating up henchmen and then you having to attack her a few times and then repeat the process. It's not going to be. Now, Black Mask fight. Black Mask, for me, it was similar to Shiva's fight. But instead of just fighting him straight away, you actually have to fight for an army of guys with guns. By an army of guys, I mean like 5 people with guns. And then Black Mask came in with his henchmen and then came and beat you up. It was a horrible fight, though. There you go. Oh yeah, here's Electrocution. Electrocution goes in E tier for being a horrible boss fight. You literally one shot him. You literally just tap any button pretty much, and Batman just kicks him, and then it's over. Boom. Anyways, onto Bane from Arkham Origins. I'm talking about all the Bane boss fights here, so including the one at the end where you have to do the tactical one. So this is actually probably going to be A tier for me. It's a great boss fight. All of them are great boss fights, actually. All of the ones with Bane in them are great boss fights. Croc from Arkham Origins. I didn't mind it. It was similar. It was literally just you doing beatdown on him, so it's like an armoured thug. We have to do loads of beatdowns on him. He probably goes in C for me, if anything. Yeah, he's right next to Bane for me, I reckon. Now, Firefly. This was also a great boss fight for me. I like this. How you had the grappling thing at the end. I actually reckon this probably goes in A for me as well. It's enjoyable. And how you have to do all the bridge explosions first before you have to take on Firefly. Now, the Arkham Knight boss fight. This is literally, when I'm talking about the Arkham Knight boss fight here, I'm talking about every boss fight he was in, technically speaking. So that includes the one in Ace Chemicals, the one, the Cloudburst tank one, the drill, the Cloudburst drill thing that you have to deal with, and then his boss fight where you actually have to go on stealth around. I think this is a solid either high C or low B. All of them were, yeah, to me, so I'll probably go B. It's gonna have to be low B for me. Albert King. It was like a thug fight again, like Lady Shiva's and stuff, so I didn't really particularly enjoy it. It's probably C for me. Professor Pig, also a very interesting one, but it was actually scary. So I'm actually gonna be honest with you, it's probably low B because of how scary and creepy the Dollartrons looked when you were fighting them. Before you had to fight Pig. Okay, now Riddlers Fights. This goes in S tier because I'm just kidding. No, it goes in B tier. It was the only reason I was gonna put it in S tier is because like you get to beat up the person that's been a little shit to you throughout the entire time of Arkham. So yeah. But anyway, it's probably B tier. It's like you fight robots, then you and Catwoman team up to fight him. So yeah, interesting fight overall. All the Arkham bosses are good. This is not even including all the DLC fights or anything. And also I cut some fights from the game. I also cut some fights from the list because I've decided that some of them might not even be boss fights, like the Titan Thugs and also the Two-Face bank fight, and also the Penguin dialogue chat, and also the Penguin fight from Arkham City where you just dodge over RPG rockets for like 20 seconds. So yeah, this is my ranking of the Arkham bosses. If there's anything you want to add to this, then anything you want to add or change to this, then by all means. I think it's rather okay though. So I'm gonna go now, so Agent out.